right, welcome to Tea Time. I'm Samir Shah, and today we have a very special speaker. We have Carlos Rodríguez Pastor, who is Chairman and CEO of Intercorp. He is the Managing General Partner of Nexus Group, a private equity firm, since 1998. Nexus has invested in movie theaters, fast food, schools, universities, and hotels, and is also the Chairman of Interbank. From 1990 to 1993, he was Vice President at Citibank in New York. And from 1993 to 1995, he was Managing Director at Banco Santander in New York. Since 1995, he has been Chairman and CEO of Intercorp, Chairman of Interbank, and Director of Royalty Pharma, Casa Andien, Interseguro, Supermercados Peruanos, Intelobank, In Retail, Innova Schools, and NG Restaurants. He holds a bachelor's degree in social sciences from the University of California, Berkeley, and in 1988, an MBA from Dartmouth College. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you.
So first question for you. The business has seen success in many sectors, from financial services to healthcare. Why did you decide to target education?
We saw that education was probably the most important sector for a country to continue to grow. And as we analyzed in more detail what was going on, we were surprised that Peru had a very, very bad education system. So rather than be a spectator, we decided to get involved because we feel that the only way a country can reach its potential if you have an educated workforce.
Got it.
We know your company is working with IDEO. What prompted that decision to work with them, and what impact that has in how business is made?
So I grew up in California, and I've known about IDEO for a very, very long time, and they're a company that I've always admired. The way they approach problems and how they come up with solutions is something that I always wanted to do. So we thought this was a perfect opportunity to come up with something that stretched what they traditionally do. This was, how can we build from scratch an education system that is for profit, that is affordable, that has academic excellence, and that's scalable. And they were very thrilled with the assignment because it's something they'd never done before. And the partnership was fantastic. We worked together designing this for about 8-9 months, and along the way we met many of our long-term partners. One example is the Sal Khan Academy that have been very, very instrumental in developing our blended learning methodology. So it's been a fantastic partnership, and it's resulted in IDEO having an actual office in Peru.
Okay.
That only works with our group. It's, I think, one of 2 that they have in the world, and we do a lot of things with them, and it's been a fantastic experience.
Thank you.
Sure. So you've seen a lot of success with Innova Schools. What do you think are the factors that contributed to success?
I think, like in most businesses, one of the key things is how to handle the trade-offs. So if you ask a parent or a teacher or a student, what would you like from a school? They're going to get a laundry list of all sorts of things, and maybe it's not possible to do it because our kind of non-negotiable is we want to charge this amount, and it can't be higher because this is what that segment of the population can afford. So what are the things we need to be really, really good at that can move the needle academically, and maybe what are the things that we won't be so good at? And that's part of the trade-off. So we won't be the best at sports. We may not be the best at other things, but we're going to give you a very good education. You're going to learn design thinking. We're going to teach in a different way. We have a blended learning where 70% is classroom, 30% is solo learning. And it's not for everybody, and that's why we named it Innova Schools. The name says innovation. So if you want to go to a traditional school, go to Saint something, but not to Innova Schools. And one of the biggest challenges, perhaps, is convincing the parents that this methodology works, because most of us have come from a system where the teacher is really at the center of everything. In our universe, the student's at the center, and we need to have teachers that can say, hey, I don't know. Let's find the answer together. And sometimes that's not easy. But I think we're gaining a lot of traction because the results have been quite good.
Yeah, it's a great model.
What comes next for Intercorp? What do you see the future going?
So I think traditionally, like, businesses start looking at the customer segments, and they go from the low-hanging fruit, and maybe from there they expand. So businesses traditionally will go to the wealthy parts of the country, maybe the wealthy parts, or maybe from there they'll expand to the capital, maybe the main province cities. But then there's a big group that's kind of left over. In our case in Peru, it's the rural population. So 35% of Peruvians live in rural towns. 20% in towns of 2,000 and less, and 15% in towns of 2,000 to 20,000. So they are not part of the formal economy. It's very informal. Now through technology, you can reach everybody. So one of the things we're working on is how we can connect everybody and deliver services that group can afford, and imagine the possibilities there is there for development. So I think that's our next big endeavor.
Okay, thanks.
And one of the things that we're interested in is the access to financial services. So in terms of access to financial services, how would you say the relationship is between that and kind of like the social setting within Peru?
Well, Peru still is kind of a cash and carry economy. And so I don't know what the correct number is, but let's say 60 or even 70% of the economy is informal. So I think as you bring digital services to everybody, we can formalize the economy, we can provide things at a much lower cost, and perhaps we can have data to better evaluate our customers. So that's one of the exciting things that's going on in banking. We've seen it in other parts of the world, M-Pesa in Kenya. We see how mobile payments have taken off in China. And we think good things will start happening in Peru very soon, because less than 1% of our payments are done to mobile phones. And there's no reason for it, because everybody in the country already owns a mobile phone. So I think we have to deliver services in a much more cost-efficient way so that we can expand the pie and all the opportunities that Peruvians have.
Got it. Makes sense.
What advice would you give to MBA students that are graduating for the future?
So the first thing is, whatever job you take after you graduate, it probably won't be your last job. But I think the one thing you should do is sign up for something where you have a genuine passion for. So it's not really a job, it's something you want to do. And whether you get paid for it or not, you would do it almost anyway. Second thing is, make sure that there's chemistry with the people you're going to be working with, and they're people that you can learn from. I had a dilemma when I was coming right out of college. I had two job offers. One job offer was from Bank A, and one from Bank B. So Bank A was paying me 10% less than Bank B. And I had a big dilemma. So I called my father and said, Dad, what should I do? And his advice was, where do you think are the best people, the ones you'll get along with, the ones you'll learn the most? Well, this bank. Yeah, but it pays me less. Don't worry about it. It'll work out. It turns out that bank is what is now called JP Morgan. And the people I worked with were Heidi Miller, who ended up as president of JP Morgan, Bill Harrison, and the other people, I don't even remember what they're doing now. So sometimes think about what's best for you in the long term and not the short term. And then as you grow, and let's say you become responsible for other people, make sure that you always hire people that have the potential to do better than you. And sometimes that kind of sounds odd, because, he may take my job. No, he's going to push you to be better. Because if you're a lifelong learner, you'll do fine. But it's different viewpoints, people that come from different backgrounds, that may have other experiences you don't have, that actually make you better. So don't be afraid. But that's what I tell people.
That's been great advice. Thank you so much.
Thanks
We
so
appreciate
much.
your help.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Muchas
much,
gracias.
Carlos,
Great
for an
visiting you guys
excellent
here.
presentation. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Lourdes.
much. Thank you.